record when you are ready after sharing. Mm.
Here it is. Okay, here we are with another. I'm here with Swartha reading the book Universe is Calling. So here's another episode, and we're in chapter 3. So I will begin. We'll go from there. What about karma? The Greek philosopher Zeno held that the most important aspect of the learning process is to unlearn our errors. In the study of prayer, we must unlearn the many errors that color our thinking about the prayer process. Like Jesus' disciples of old, most persons today are puzzled as to why, when they pray about something, nothing happens. Jesus answered their puzzlement by saying, "You ask and receive not because you ask amiss." James 4:3. Since the turn of the 20th century, there has been a vast and growing interest among Americans in the religions of the East. This phenomenon is probably due to the failure of Western religions to fulfill the needs of their followers in terms of their spiritual quest. Much of the interest has been dictated by the passing fancy, the fad of the day, the in thing. Thus, a steady parade of gurus, perfect masters, and instruments of God has taken the country by storm. By this influence, there has been an infusion of many ideas of Hindu origin into the language of the Western truth seeker. Ideas such as meditation, self realization, mantra, and a great emphasis on karma. The latter must be addressed and understood before we can become proficient in the science of prayer. Many persons have brought into the idea of karma, have bought into the idea of karma wholesale, unaware of its implicit negatives, or the vast and irreconcilable differences between karma and the law of causation, as Jesus taught it with its moderating concept of grace and love. The word karma is used widely through much of the literature in the New Thought field. Thus, most students have unthinkingly made it a part of their spiritual vocabulary. I think that we need to take a good long look at the word and possibly rethink the advisability of identifying with it in our personal practice of the truth. For some, this may be difficult, and you may be reluctant to let go of a concept that has colored your whole awareness of truth. To you, I say, consider this chapter with the same open mind that has characterized your journey in consciousness, bondage of orthodoxy, into the new freedom in truth. There are three basic laws of Hinduism which are the root of its various branches. The law of identification, the law of karma, the law of reincarnation. Admittedly, this is an oversimplification for the purposes of this basic comparison. The law of identification holds that each person is an eternal being, a soul or Atman, who is on the pathway of unfoldment toward the ultimate merging into the soul of God. Every practice of the various religions of the East is directed toward realization of oneness with God. The law of karma, more than anything else, explains the Hindu outlook on life. The word is loosely translated as destiny or fate. You are what you are in respect to your fortune and your place in life because of your karma. Karma fixes the consequences of your acts. All mistakes, failures, and sins must be atoned for in some way at some time. They become a karmic debt that must be ultimately from lifetime to lifetime be paid. In the Eastern belief, karma explains everything in one's world: suffering, blessing, sorrow, joy, pauper and prince, the pitifully sick and the radiantly healthy. Nothing one does is ever lost, nothing is unaccounted for, nothing is forgotten, discarded, or irrelevant. The law of reincarnation is, to the Hindu, a cosmic plan whereby the individual is in a continuous succession of births and rebirths through which it is possible to attain perfection in God. The soul at death merely seeks out another opportunity to live a life, to be born again to another parent. You might be thinking, in considering these three laws of Hinduism, it's just like truth. It is precisely what I believe. Certainly it does indicate the singularities of the teachings of East and West. Religion is but a way of seeing truth. In the beginning, every religion was a sincere attempt to communicate a vision of truth to the world. It came as a wave washing at the shore of civilization. But as the wave has continued to break on the shore, it has brought the muddied backwash of form and ritual. If we push past the outward forms to the underlying truths, we find great similarities. On the surface, the concept of karma would appear to be the equivalent of the Western concept of the law of compensation of Jesus. Whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. Galatians 6:7. The law of karma is simply a statement of a fundamental law of the universe. The universe is one of absolute integrity, so it is that one receives what one earns. One cannot receive less than one earns, nor can one receive more. Either would be an infraction of the law of perfect balance. You want to go ahead and read?
Yes, Leroy. It is probably true that everyone at times may feel sorry for themselves, believing that they are not receiving their just dues. They may cry out that something has been kept from them, that another person has taken their place, or that money or position has been unjustly snatched from them. But there is inexorable law involved. And so we always set the tone, the standard of our tomorrows in the way we deal with the world today. This is fundamental law. We always set the tone, the standard of our tomorrows in the way we deal with the world today. This is, did you get me right that I read again? We always set the tone, the standard of our tomorrows in the way we deal with the world today. Very
Yes,
profound truth, I think.
yes, yes, it is.
This is the fundamental law, the law of sequence and consequence, or if you will, the law of consciousness, a karma to the Hindu. When we understand the way mind works, we realize that to focus our thought on negatives, we use the creative power of thought in a negative way. We literally generate pools of negative energy that will have to be experienced in our lives. Most persons are completely unaware how very negative the tenor of their thought is and how they are constantly laying traps for themselves, building up sequences in mind which we will inexorably manifest themselves as consequences of experience. To see the universe and everything in it is mind and body, consciousness and experience are completely interrelated. And the law of consciousness or cause and effect or karma is inexorably involved. Every condition in your present life is the result of your consciousness. Your body, your condition, every condition in your present life is the result of your consciousness. Your body, your weight, your health, all the out formation of consciousness. Whoa, Leroy, I think too much truth in this paragraph, I think.
You want to expound on it?
I think you see that the universe and everything in its whole mind, body, consciousness, experience are completely interrelated. And the law of consciousness or the cause and effect of karma is inexorably involved. Every condition in your present life is the result of your consciousness. Your body, your weight, your health, all are outformation of consciousness.
Well, yeah, that it sounds like we are the creators of ourselves.
It's so profound. Whatever is
So,
happening to you today is happened yesterday because of you only. That is the effect. The cause maybe yesterday or 10 days back or 1 month back or 1 year back or one generation back. We don't know. But just because of you created the cause, you are seeing the effect because sowing and reaping. Sowing, as soon as you sow, you cannot reap. It has gestation period. The same way cause and effect also has gestation period. Some gestation period has, because we are starting this reading class, some gestation period has, we are showing that we want to read it. And the gestation period is immediate, we are reading it because some has less gestation period, some has more gestation period. The sow and reap is a universal law that it is happening with every cause and effect because gestation period, you don't know whether the last past life you have cause and it is gestation now, or you don't know it's happened 10 years back, now it is gestation, or 1 year back, because you have no way of knowing that because each seed has its own gestation period. The same way each thought has its own gestation period, which we are unaware of it because as the seed, we can see that and we can analyze from the experience. But for thought, you don't have that cumulative knowledge of that what thought will take how much time. For Jesus, it took only his thought will take fraction of seconds to materialize. But for some of us, it may not even materialize in whole life because what Jesus is materialized in couple of seconds. He basically cured so many leopards. But do we can we uh, uh, treat the leopards? Can we cure the leopards? No. It is possible for Jesus, but not for me because we don't believe that we can cure it. And the gestation period for Jesus is very fast. But for us, we don't know. We can cure it. We can cure it. Elon Musk became a billionaire because he believed it. He is becoming it. Jeff Bezos, Larry Ellison, they believed it. They are believing their products. They are serving the society and they are becoming rich. Everybody's belief system is different because we are all expressions of God.
yeah, yeah, that was very profound. Yeah, we are all expressions of God, and we can only do what we believe we can do.
Mm.
So if uh, yeah, if we would the belief our belief has a gestation period. It can we believe for this or that, and so it's I think the manifestation comes as the belief grows in us. So um could we I know the stories of Jesus, it looks like he just healed people instantly, but he was still not working outside of the law of sowing and reaping. So, uh, can we get to that point where we could do that instantly? I don't. Uh, I we would have to create that belief within ourselves that we could. And many times it took the person who had the disease or leprosy or whatever. it took that person's faith to get healed. It wasn't just Jesus touching them and healing them. So because he said in a couple places, he said, according to your faith, be it unto you. So, you want to go ahead and read, or you want me to? Or
Your relationship or the absence of happy relationships are the consequences of sequences thought built up over your life. Your prosperity or lack of success is an exact reflection of the causal forces you have. However, unconsciously set in motion, some would call this as accumulation of karma. I prefer to call it consciousness. The intimation of this great law, identify it as you will, is that you cannot get something for nothing. You cannot break the law without paying the piper. And the good you do to returns to you in some way with certainty. If everyone understand understood this law and lived by it, their lives would be transformed. There will be no hoping for good fortune, no playing the wheel of chance, lottery, numbers, roulette, horse races, and sporting events. In other words, we would see the folly of trying to bypass the great law, that success is not getting there, but earning the right to be there. Of course, in our search for meaning, we all can see instances where there seem to be an injustice, where life seems unfair. Some people seem to break the law with impunity and get away with it. Some persons seem lucky or unlucky in everything. Card playing, love making, and the pursuit of money.
do you have any thoughts on what you just read?
It's as the being, it's going very beyond our this thing perceptions, but it's basically see there is nothing free. Basically, nothing there is no something for nothing. Basically, that's we have to believe it. And if you believe in that, basically that is the cause and effect. Basically, you have to give before you get.
You have to put
Then
something in, but yeah,
before. Basically, you have to you have to put the fuel before you get fire. The same
yeah,
way you have to put something in. You have to put the seed and nurture them and take care of it in order to get the harvest. If you if you if you continuously remember that sow and reap and how the farmer takes care of the seed, how he nurtures, how he removes the weeds, how you basically fertilize the soil and all those things. It's a great uh, law of human nature. The same thing applies to everything in the life, the sowing and reaping in every aspects of life. Before you reap, you have to sow. Without sowing, nothing reaps. And you have to allow gestation period. Without gestation period, you can't get it. But the gestation period for Elon Musk is a couple of seconds. Gestation period for me is not a couple of seconds because we don't know. Because I am firm believer of that. Anything can be done instantly.
okay.
But can you do
Wow.
it? I don't know. I believe that since my childhood. Anything can be done instant. Anything can be fixed in instant. But and I see a lot of people earning $100 million instantly. Lot of people earning $1 billion instantly. That is, does it possible for all the people? No.
The people
Jesus
who,
cured a lot of people instantly. But can you
the
cure?
people who,
No, we don't know. You have to believe first.
uh, here's my thoughts on the instant is like I I don't think people at least, okay, maybe let's say if you win the lottery, you could instantly win millions of dollars, but I don't think that anyone can um, make $1 million instantly in the sense that, it might happen instantly, but it was a result of lots of work up to that
Yeah, in the
point.
behind the scenes, which doesn't
Yes,
give
and
the
what
result,
we don't
because
see.
you
Yeah.
only see the result instantly, but
Yeah.
behind that there is a lot of work. That's what I want to say,
Yes.
because I was unable to
Yeah.
emphasize you in the right
Yeah.
way.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
behind the work, because Edison did 10,000 failures in order to get the incandescent bulb. But how
Yeah.
much time it
Okay.
took, he did instantly. But behind instant, there is so many years of work, so much lag. Because
Yeah.
now Elon Musk can re-up 1 billion or $2 billion in a day. But how much effort he did
Yeah.
so many years back?
Yes. Yeah.
He came from nothing. Because what is your experience? Basically, he came from nothing, he learned, and he did it. But he did now instantly $1 billion on a day of a single stock market trading. But how much effort he put, nobody knows.
Yeah. Yeah. We never see all the work somebody did put into it.
Yeah. Swan
So
reaping is correct, but
so
swan
yeah.
reaping can be done for some people instantly.
Yes.
But there is a back. We don't know the law or miracle or whatever we feel,
Hmm.
because we
We don't
don't know
know
the
how long
cause,
ago.
and we only see the effect. That is called miracle. Instantly, we see as a miracle. But we our imagination or our thought power is not able to grasp the what is the cause, when it happened, and all those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And what I wanted to uh, explore here is um, people who do these things like playing the lottery and roulette, horse races, and sporting events, and that is that's an attempt to bypass the law. And I think uh, Paul the Apostle wrote about such thing as he he talked about against the print. What is it? I think their god's name was Diana or something, and so the people were upset because he was teaching this new concept, this new idea of sowing and reaping, and I think the the lottery and all this stuff today is that idol that people go after. And what it would not like for you to upset their operation because they they get their money by all the people who are hoping to for a good fortune. They keep playing all of these um, you know lottery numbers, roulette, horse races, and sporting events. They keep pouring money in, hoping they'll get a return on it instantly. But they haven't understood the law of compensation. So, but I the the saddest part is on the side of Christianity has almost created the same concept is that somehow you have to have someone to pay the price for you. You can't pay the price yourself. And so when people like us come along and want to say everything is a result of our own thoughts, then that that causes them to believe that we are in error, that we're spreading heresy. But the whole universe, and Jesus himself taught the law of compensation over and over. You
You
want
want
me
to
to go
take
ahead?
over because
Yeah.
I don't want.
Okay.
Yeah, I just see that because
Yeah.
I went whatever I read is very in depth. Basically, I just want to give an opportunity to shed your thoughts
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I overreacted to all the things. I think.
Well, you're fine. That maybe it's maybe that's what we need. Look around you. Where is the justification for the misery and inequality in the world? How can you justify the millions of starving people, brutal wars, the victims of terrorist attacks, and senseless crimes, the hungry and homeless all around us? We are dealing with consciousness, and hard as it sometimes is to accept, there are no experiences unrelated to consciousness. It is like a bank balance where you have an accumulation of pluses or an overwhelming balance of minuses. And this is what is normally explained as an evidence of karma. I certainly do not accept the idea that karma explains everything, but in its cause and effect aspect, it is an important window into reality. The person who is involved in some accident or tragedy was in some way motivated to be there at that time. Of course, there are times when it is obvious that we cannot understand life in terms of the brief span beginning with birth and ending with death. Thus, the cosmic bank account must carry over from one life experience to another. This is why the idea of reincarnation seems credible. Personally, I find no sense of meaning in life without it. Boy, that is becoming truer and truer in my mind. um, Is there is no sense of meaning in life without a continuation somehow to come to that enlightenment. But now, having said all this, let us note the great and irreconcilable, I'm not sure how you pronounce that word, I'll have to find out, difference between the classic concept of karma and the truth of the law of compensation. The Eastern concept centers on our past and ultimate destiny. There is little hope of or promise of freedom today. Karma becomes a cycle of penalty and retribution that continues on from one incarnation to the next. The person is in effect chained to a relentlessly moving wheel by the accumulated effects of the sins of past lives. Wow, that's just mind-boggling to think about. You're on this almost like a wheel. You can't get off of it. And in a sense, you might be, but we can choose our thoughts and we can make the most of that. We can make it a different experience for us. That we're not just spinning around in circles and going nowhere. Thus, each person is a weary treadmill traveler from birth to death and from death to birth. The resulting effect on the Hindu is a sense of hopelessness and futility. There is no healing, no way to overcome, no way out. Today's problems are part payment for past sins, and the karmic debt must be paid. Retribution must run its course. Now we should say here that as with all religious philosophies, there are many variations of belief about karma. So it is dangerous to generalize. I am referring to the classic and basic concept of karma. As we have said, many students of truth have bought into the concept of karma and have unwittingly accepted a lot of ideas that are irreconcilable Salvo with Jesus' teachings, thinking of karma as God's judgment, something that is going to see that we get punished for our sins. But I do not believe in a God or a karmic law that punishes, not even a cause and effect that punishes. You are punished not for your sins, but by them. I like that line. That is, I believe that to be so true is that no one is punishing you for the bad you've done because if he would, that means he's angry with you. And God is not really, you can't really say that God is an angry God, and it it would seem like it sometimes, but it is simply the law of cause and effect happening here. Whatever you put in, you get out. The great dynamic of Jesus' teaching is you will know the truth and the truth will make you free. John 8:32. You see, Jesus did accept the karmic law, but he taught that sequences and consequence, cause and effect, are law for matter and mind only, not for spirit. There is no law of retribution in God, for we are told, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Jeremiah 3:1-3, 31:3. We are loved unconditionally. God never stops loving us, but we stop loving ourselves. And there's another thing I want to expound on is the Bible said, we read in scripture that God is love. So God cannot stop loving because that's what he is. Just like if you think about an apple is an apple. You can't get orange juice out of an apple. It cannot change its form. And God is this love. He does not change. So I have loved you with an everlasting love. That means he is always love. He never changes. So there is no law of retribution in God. No matter what the causes of the karmic debt, the effects can be dissolved by knowing the truth, by raising our consciousness above the level of sin. A good contemporary illustration would be flying out of the Earth's gravitational field into outer space where weight is nullified. Many persons hooked on the idea of karma think that they are restricted by what they call my karma. It is a rationalization for a feeling of spiritual impotence, and to think this way is to cloud the issue of prayer with the incurability and impossibility that rise out of a sense that karma must run its course. People are often not aware of this, but it is implied when we mistake when we mistaken use of the idea of karma at all. The dynamic of prayer, often overlooked by Christians, is that when you enter into thine inner chamber and shut the door, Matthew 6:6, you enter the realm of spiritual consciousness, where the higher law of spirit overrides or supersedes the lower law of the mental and physical realms. Thus, the new insight and truth reveals the way to freedom from karma. Retribution can be transcended, the cycle of karma can be broken. You can be free, all debts dissolve, you can be healed through the Christ indwelling. Paul says, for the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. John 1:17. Let's look at this thing called grace. I'm not sure why it says Paul says, because if we read that in John. So, wow. Yeah, there's karma, as some people see it, is just simply they've been pre-programmed to receive certain things, or this is just how things are unfolding for them. There's nothing they can do about it. That concept would make them a victim of circumstances, and that is in complete contradiction to the law of sowing and reaping. Do you have any more thoughts you want to share before we close?
It's very great in-depth freedom. I think I already talked a lot of things today. I think I have to shut my mouth.
You don't want to reap your karma, huh?
It's very profound.
Yeah. Yeah. So how much do you actually know about Hinduism? What
Yeah,
is
this
that
talks about in Hinduism.
like what religion would you say, or what kind of religion did you grow up in, or what was it called?
I am Hindu.
You're Hindu? Okay. So you
Mm.
you understand a lot of these concepts that he's talking about.
Yeah, a little bit because nobody teaches this. Because I learned from, Maharshi Maharaj Yoga, you said one day. Uh, One of the disciple is Ravi Shankar, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and he's one of the disciple. I learned by paying lot of money to him. Earlier, I do not know
Okay.
much about it, but basically he charges very good amount of money because he is teaching in abroad in America, and he's basically teaches all those things for a fee, not for free. But in India, a lot of people teaches for free, which you have to go and attend. But I do not know in India because I was grew up in the dormitories where I do not have access to anything other than reading the books and study the subjects. And
Okay.
when I happened to in America, I happened to into one of my friend introduced to that company, that Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and I happened to learn a lot of from him. But yeah, but I have no grasping power at that time. I was just simply listen. This understanding from Napoleon Hill is more greater in depth because I was not in a position to receive at that time. Now I am my mental. I am grown mentally with this environment from NHI since 2 years. Right?
Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah, and that's how most of us are. We'll read about it, but yeah, there's no capacity within ourselves to understand what we're reading, really, what the
Mm.
author is trying to communicate.
We can
And
say
so
frequency level. It doesn't match.
so
His frequency
yeah,
level doesn't match with our frequency level
yeah,
because to understand
yes,
because he's somewhere and we are somewhere. But the time basically because we are studying these things every day, and it is basically now we were able to remember a couple of things because everything is recorded in our subconscious. It's basically sometimes it will be revealed automatically, sometimes you have to put effort, sometimes it's basically the thing, but everything is get recorded into subconscious.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, we're at the point where we can now grow. We are at the point where things are happening faster for us. And so, yeah. All right, I will stop the recording.